Hey friends, Sarah here from sarahsbites.com. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm showing you how to make this delicious chicken tortilla soup, which I promise does not take long at all. So let's get started with the recipe. I like to start off by prepping my chicken, that way it's ready to go and we can put it in the soup later. I just use a couple of the breasts from a rotisserie chicken and then I save the rest of the meat for a different type of meal. You can also just buy a couple of breasts and cook them on a pan or roast them in the oven, whatever you prefer. I just think using a rotisserie chicken is a lot easier, and I don't have the exact measurement or weight on that because you just kind of eyeball it. It's just 2 chicken breasts pretty much, and then you'll just shred it with a fork or a knife. Next, we're going to grab whatever pot we'll make the soup in, and you're going to heat up about 2 tablespoons of olive oil on medium-high heat. To that, we're going to add in 1 medium diced onion. It can be any type of onion you used. I used a sweet onion here. Then 1 small bell pepper. Dice that up into small cubes. I went with red because I like the sweetness that it offers, but get any kind of pepper you like. And I also added half a jalapeno that I seeded and diced. And if you like your spice, definitely add the whole jalapeno. I can't really handle anything spicy now because I'm pregnant, but usually I would add a whole jalapeno. So totally optional what you want to do there. And you're going to saute these for about 5 to 8 minutes. When your peppers and onions soften up, we're going to add in 4 garlic cloves that are finely minced, and then saute that for another minute or so. And I did end up adding just a splash more olive oil to prevent sticking on the bottom. Now we'll season this with 1 teaspoon of salt, a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. You can also use white pepper here, 1 teaspoon of chili powder, and then 1 teaspoon of cumin. Give everything a nice stir, and then we're going to start adding in the rest of our ingredients. Now we're also going to add our can of fire roasted tomatoes. I just have an organic can here that's 14.5 ounces. Just throw the whole can in there. And then you're also going to need a 15-ounce can of black beans that you drained. So make sure you don't use the liquid that comes in the can with the beans. I like to drain them and rinse them. And then I also added about a 12-ounce bag of frozen sweet corn. You can also use canned corn. I just always prefer the frozen bags. Totally optional what you want to do there. We'll also add 32 ounces of low sodium chicken broth. I used the chicken bone broth here. There is a slight difference. Either or works. You can also use plain water and just throw in a couple of those chicken bouillon cubes. But I do think that chicken broth adds a bit more flavor. Give it a nice stir, and then you're going to bring this up to medium-high heat to a light boil, and then lower your heat to medium and let it simmer for about 20 to 25 minutes. You don't need too long here because pretty much almost everything in here is already cooked, minus that frozen corn. If you're enjoying watching this video, please consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell so that you get a reminder every time I post a recipe. And then of course the ingredients will always be listed in the description box below this YouTube video, as well as on sarahsbites.com. While our soup is simmering away, we are going to make some homemade tortilla strips, and this is totally optional because there are so many store-bought options that are just as good in my opinion. You're going to grab a non-stick pan or a tortilla pan, and to that we'll add in a 1/4 cup of vegetable oil. And then you're just going to simply fry your corn tortillas. You can get yellow or white corn or blue corn, whatever you prefer. And it takes about maybe 2 minutes on each side on high heat. So you do want to keep it on high heat because we are frying these. I like frying the tortillas as a whole, but you can also cut them into strips first and then add a little bit more oil and just throw them in the pan and fry them that way. Whatever is easier for you. I think it's easier to cut them up after you fry your tortillas. But you're just looking for this nice crispy golden color on top. And then you're just going to grab a knife and cut them into strips, whatever size that you like. I think the tortilla strips and avocado are the best toppings on the soup. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite part is. I know some people really like to load up the cheese on their soup, so I think the tortilla strips are the best. I mean, you can even eat those alone. Just probably not the healthiest thing. A couple of the store-bought versions that I like are the Santa Fe tortilla strips. Those are pretty good. They have some seasonings in them. And then they're not spicy or anything. They have a lot of flavor to them. And then there are plain tortilla strips that are tricolored, but they do have salt on them. So just be mindful of that when you're making your soup and adding salt, because if you're buying these store-bought tortilla strips, they do have quite a bit of salt on them. Once your soup has simmered long enough, we're going to add in our chicken, give it a quick stir, and then we're also going to squeeze in 1 whole lime. You're welcome to add more lime juice here. I definitely suggest using fresh lime juice, not that prepackaged stuff. But I do like to cut up lime wedges and serve them on top of the soup when I'm actually eating it. So totally optional to you. When you do your taste test, just kind of adjust things as you go. And we're also going to add in a 1/2 cup of freshly chopped cilantro and stir everything together. Before you turn the soup off, give it a try and see what else you'd like to add in there. I ended up sprinkling a little bit more salt, and that is it. Just let it simmer for another 1 to 2 minutes tops after you added all these ingredients, and then we're going to turn our soup off and serve it. You can store your soup in the fridge for up to 5 days, and you can actually store it in the freezer for up to 6 months. Just make sure that it's in an airtight container. You can do a couple of servings at a time, or a big Tupperware full of soup, whatever you prefer. But it's super easy just to take it out of your Tupperware or container and put it into your pot, and it'll melt and thaw and taste just like a freshly made soup. As far as toppings go, I love to use avocados, the blend of the tortilla strips, as well as some cheese. You can use any cheese that you like. You can also add some more cilantro on top, and some people like to squeeze lime, as well as add sour cream. It's totally up to you what you want to do there. I hope you enjoyed this recipe, and I will see you next week with another one. Bye.